experience. Hi, I want to talk about my first Ramadan experience. I wanted to go over a little bit about the fasting. I wanted to talk a little bit about reading the Quran, and I have some video here when I went to a local mosque in my area. During Ramadan, you are supposed to fast for the daylight hours. You're going to abstain from food and drink from dawn till dusk. So I was very excited to do this. I've done food fasts before, but I've never done a water fast. So I was a little concerned about fasting from drink or how my body would respond to that. The food fast, I know the benefits of this. For food fasting, after about 12 hours, your body goes into ketogenic mode where it's just running off the fat reserves, and during this time it's very healthy for the body. It essentially cleans the cells. So from the cellular level, I knew the benefits of food fasting, and I was definitely interested in trying this, as I knew it would be a little easy for me to do. In terms of liquid fasting, that I was a little bit more concerned about. But I did a little research on what is called dry fasting, and I learned that dry fasting actually resets the circadian rhythm. So this is a normal process where the body gets in sync with what goes on in nature. And within this, there's natural processes that take place, and sometimes some of the activities you take can bring you away from these rhythms and these dry fasts. The research, one paper that I looked up talked about bringing these natural rhythms back into your life. I noticed that I was feeling better in terms of health, in terms of thinking clearer in general. But one thing that was difficult is I drink coffee every day. I found myself being very reliant on drinking this coffee in the morning. Some things that I will change in the future is maybe certain foods I eat. There's fruits and vegetables which hold a little bit more water so they can keep you hydrated a little longer. And also in terms of this coffee, I will most likely be doing some fasts from coffee, just because I realized how much I became reliant and dependent on it to just do my everyday functions. So that was some interesting parts of the fasting experience. This is something that I'm looking forward to the future doing in the next Ramadans. Another thing that I learned was to read the Qur'an. So personally, I do not read many books. I enjoy doing lots of research. So I thought I just schedule it out. If I read 10 pages of the Quran, this is an English translation of the Quran. If I read 10 pages a day, I will be able to get through it by the end of Ramadan. And I found it to be in a very easy read. I only have 30 pages left. Some things that I learned in the Quran is that it goes over a lot about doing good. And the people who aren't good, they're going to receive punishment for this. The Quran constantly and repetitively goes over this time and time again, how the believers will be rewarded and how the disbelievers will burn. So I enjoyed that, as it causes a belief in me in terms of the decisions that I've made in my life, why I've made these decisions, especially in the past, even before being Muslim, as I would not sacrifice what I believe to be right over, say, financial gain or some sort of gain over someone else. What I learned about is some of the history of the prophets, their life, and some of the miracles that took place for them to remind the disbelievers of what the right path is to follow. I enjoyed these stories very much. Another thing in the Quran that I found kind of interesting was it goes over a lot of what takes place in the Western world that maybe courts might handle in terms of inheritance or when you get married, who gets these rights to, say, property or wealth. I found it interesting that it has a lot of these social activities and rules to follow to create a healthy society. And the third thing I wanted to go over was some video I have of a local mosque that I attended. I go to 2 mosques in my area. I think this one in particular was of an event to break the fast and partake in the prayer and the Iftar. This day was a little different because they invited some non-Muslim members to experience this as well. They had some guest speakers in the beginning, and then the non-Muslims got to partake in seeing how a prayer happens, and then they all shared a meal together. So I have some video of the mosque. All right, I'm here in front of the mosque. You can see it right behind me. We're getting ready to go in and do the night prayer, the Iftar. I have some video of where they do wudu and a little bit more about sharing of the meal. So
this is the Iftar for today. Some chicken, rice, and and it's yogurt, sweet yogurt.
Yeah, so I thought that this might be a good little video for some non-Muslim members who maybe have never been to a mosque, and this is something that maybe they can expect if they go to their local mosque. I learned a lot, and I went through some transformative experiences during my first Ramadan. I'm looking forward to many more Ramadans to come.